Okay, this section will be about the type tool, the color selection tool, and the gradient tool. So here we are, and we're going to work in this lower left section, our last section. Make sure that the top layer is selected, the brush tool. We're going to use the type tool, and whenever we use the type tool, it creates its own layer, as you'll see. Okay, so top layer is selected. Come over to the color picker and choose the default setting, which is black foreground, white background. Okay, so I want black in the foreground. Choose the type tool, the big letter T, and again, there's different choices here. Just make sure you have type horizontal, horizontal type tool. In this region in the lower left, the last section, just click, hold, and drag and make a pretty fairly good size text box. And typically, okay, so I made this text box and I can see the bounding box. It's a little bit different. Once you make the text box, this context sensitive menu will come up. This will tell you the type of the typeface, what people call font, but it's actually a typeface, the font of it, and the size. Usually it might default to 12 points, and it'll fill with some fake Latin, just some filler text there. So first of all, set the point size to 72, just so we can see what we're working with here. And then you can choose any typeface you want here. Hit this drop-down menu. Choose anything you want. You're going to type your name. I'm going to choose this a body condensed extra bold, because what I'm going to add some color to this, and it's just a chunkier typeface works better. And there's a lot to choose from, but you can pick any one you want, whatever one interests you. But I'm going to choose this a body condensed. Okay, so all the it's just like a Word document now. So I have all this stuff selected. If you click and deselect by mistake, you can do Command or Control A, select everything. Type in your name, and so now this is just text in a text box. So with the type tool still enabled, I can grab a handle and I can move. If I squish this in, this is what happens. So this is not behaving like the other images, or an image. What I want to do is change. I want to be able to manipulate this, put a gradient on top of it. I might want to stretch it and distort it. Well, how do I do that? To do that, I have to do what's called rasterizing the type. Rasterize means, make it a bitmapped image, basically. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can go to type with it selected. You have to see the bounding box. Type, rasterize type layer. You can do that, or you could come over to the type layer that was created and right click and choose rasterize type there, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so rasterize type, now what does that mean? So now with this rasterize type layer selected, if I do Command or Control T, now this should look really familiar to you. Now we can just size and distort and move or whatever. What we did, just like we did with the shapes that we did at the beginning of this video series. So after you rasterize the type layer, make your name nice and big. Make it legible, however. Okay, and when you get it the size and shape that you want, hit the return key. I'm going to show you a new two more things. An interesting selection trick or tool, and then the gradient tool. So first of all, select the marquee, the rectangular marquee tool. With the rectangular marquee tool, select your name and just have your name isolated with the marching ants. Okay? Next, go to Select, Color Range, and this fuzziness thing, I'm not really going to get into it right now, but set the fuzziness probably, this could be pretty high actually, 145 I think will work. Make sure selection is enabled here, and then make sure select sampled colors is enabled. Okay, so now on the image, let me move this down here so we can see it here. You could select it in here, but I like to do it, I always do it on the image. On the image, select a black area of your name with the little eyedropper tool. And lo and behold, nothing happens, but that's okay. Now click OK. So now what you'll have is marching ants only going around your name. Now, if we had not drawn that marquee selection tool, what the color selection tool would have done, it would have selected all the black in the entire image. Okay? So maybe that's a little bit advanced, but I just wanted you to know that. Alrighty, so you have marching ants going around your name. Let's put a gradient through this, and what we're going to do is come over here to the toolbar. And remember, a long time ago when I started this series, the gradient tool was with the paint bucket tool. So go to your paint bucket tool, hit the drop down menu, and choose gradient tool. When you choose gradient tool, you'll have this context sensitive menu come up. This drop down menu shows you the types of gradients. Typically it'll default to the foreground color to white, or foreground, or maybe foreground to background. It's really fuzzy with me right now. Yeah, it's foreground to background. But if you hit the drop down menu, there's other choices. I like this one a lot when I use gradients, is foreground color to transparent. That's very handy. But let's pick a fun gradient here. I'm going to pick this rainbow. You can pick any one of these colorful gradients. I'm going to choose the last one, this rainbow here. Come down to, and you'll get a crosshair. Come down to your name with the marching ants, and remember, if you don't like your result, you can always Command Z. But I'm going to place my crosshair in the front of my name, click, hold, and drag, and you'll see like this line comes up, and just watch what happens when then I'm going to release the mouse, and it makes this rainbow color across it. And you can experiment with this as long as you got the marching ants going on. Click, hold, and drag like it diagonally, and it'll change it a little bit, you know. I kind of liked it the way it was at the beginning, so I'm going to Command Z, and I like it that way. So this is cool. This is what I wanted. I'm going to do a Command D to deselect, and a Command S to save, or you can go File, Save. And there's one more video in this series, so I'll see you in the next video.